Hey, what's up, dudes? Alright, we're back. It's really late. I got to be at work at 5 tomorrow. 5 o'clock tomorrow? Alright. Had to take care of that. Just to do it. So we made decent progress. I mean, it's okay. Progress is progress. I'm chipping away at it. Putting in those hours. I'm back to putting in at least some hours compared to like what I was. Okay. So let's jump in. We stopped it right here at 3:30. We're just gonna do 30 minutes though. I'm not gonna do we'll do 30 and I'll see how I feel at that point. Extensions got to restart. Git lens. I don't even know what git lens does anymore. Oh yeah, right. It does like, it does git stuff. It shows you like, see, it says like when I last modified this line and all that stuff, and it tells me my last commit associated with each line. It's really cool shit, honestly. It's like, honestly, it's actually fucking amazing, really, like straight up. Anyway, all right, let's do it. So we need to determine how to properly encode the token prior to sending using consend, since it has to be bytes to send using socket. Do we actually need to do base64 and decode it before re-encoding it? Review this code and consult with ChatGPT. Okay, yeah, so we have this hash token and we generate the client token and we end up getting the client token returned from this function, and ultimately it's in the form of it's in a string. It's in the form of a string. Final form is string, right? Yeah. So we end up where's this? Okay, there it is. B64 encode. So we encode it and then we immediately decode it. But if we didn't decode it, we couldn't combine it with a string. You can't concatenate, like, you know what I mean? It has to all be the same to be together, right? At least like in one little package or whatever you want to call it. So I think we have to do it this way, and then let me put a little note here. So turns into JSON-ified string, then encodes to bytes, and then this one creates new signature and returns, and final form is hex string, and then the client token encodes payload into base 64 bytes, then decodes into string and combines with signature string, and then final form is string. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and then validate token. We don't need to worry about that right now. So yeah, we just have to encode this. That's all. We just have to encode the client token. So then we would just do client token dot encode, and then we'll say encoded client token equals, and then we're gonna do con.send encoded client token. Converts from string to bytes, and then returns token hash token as string. This is returns secure hash token as string. Converts from string to bytes. Consend encoded client token, and this first send. Okay. So do I need to modify any of this code? Num equals 0 while self verified ID receive is not equal to 2. Ready. Okay, so it's waiting for the verification. Well, what do we do this for? Why do we do this? Starts at 0 plus equals 1 for each threaded client to verify. Is later reduced by 1 if a client DCs to ensure the section is run when they reconnect, so the client doesn't get stuck in while client ID is equal to none in client pi. Early stage. Oh man. Okay. It says it's later reduced by 1. So we need to review and this is just the way it goes. This is basically a refactor of it's a refactor of the earliest stage, and I just wanted to do it the right way. I could have just, well, it probably needed to be refactored anyway, honestly, like, other than the fact that we're including the client token. Wait a second. Is this actually the accept section? Hold up. Is this the accept? No, this is the beginning stage of... this is the beginning stage of... the threaded client. This is not... Yeah, this is related to the reconnect section for the exception. This is not the reconnect section. This is the initial connect section. It's a little bit confused there. So need to review necessity / logic of self.verified ID received, and this broader section and related code in light of new changes to initial send format and reconnect system or structure, whatever. Same, well, sort of same difference. Need to do blah 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 blah. Okay, and then what do we need to do? Fucking nose itches sometimes, bro. I don't know why. It just does. Drives me insane. Trim my nose hairs probably. Is that happening, y'all? Your nose itches for no reason, like just because. Okay, so we're gonna review this section. So I'll just put a note here which says basically this. That's what to say of this section. Review necessary logic of this section in light of changes to reconnect logic and initial send structure. I really need to have more disciplined like typing the way that I type, because I'd be like fast and then slow and fast and then slow, bubble. Alright, what are we doing here? Reconnect system to do. Add code which generates a secure client token and includes it in the... Okay, so we determined how to properly encode the token. Alright, so we just need to encode it. Do we actually need to... Yeah, we do need to do that. And we didn't consult with ChatGPT because I figured it out on my own. So let's just review this. So we have if client num is equal to 1, and this is in the context of the try, and this is at the beginning of the threaded client. When the threaded client first connects in the child process, the first thing it's going to do is check that client num arg. So if client num is equal to 1, then that means client ID is going to be equal to whatever self.client1 ID is. And like we got that logic on lock to, you know, we could have 1,000 clients, and this will assign the correct one. So that's already taken care of. And then else, that means if client num is not equal to 1, which means it's 2, then client ID will be equal to self.client2 ID. Right. So that's good. And then we have the client token, and we do have the game. Yeah, we have the game ID. Yeah, that's already assigned. That's assigned prior to the creation of the threads. Client token, that's whenever we create the child process, that's created. So client token equals generate client token, game ID equals self game ID, client ID equals client ID, return secure hash token as string. Cool. Okay. And does it take the proper args? I don't know if it's going to show me. Okay, yeah, it does. It shows parameter game ID and then client ID. Well, it doesn't, like, that's why I wrote them out, because that's just how I like to do args. because when you like look at a function, when you call it, it might have 5 args. You don't remember what those args are, you know? Anyway, that should be good. Passing the game ID as the self game ID, client ID as client ID, and then encoded client token is client token dot encode, converts from string to bytes, and this has to be done for it to be able to be sent over the network. And then we do con send encoded client token. So what I want to do is I actually want to test this before we roll with it, I think, in the test environment. I don't think it'll take me long. I just want to basically I don't know if I necessarily want to do that. I don't know if I want to waste the time. It's not a waste of time per se. Like, I don't want to be lazy, but I don't want to be extra. And I feel like I don't need to test this, honestly. I feel like I can just not test it. I'm not being lazy, guys. Look, give me a break, okay? I'm not, I promise. I trust this. If there's a problem with it, it's going to be very obvious. It's not going to be like some super hidden bug. It's just going to not work, you know? Like, it's not going to get decoded properly. Like, it'll be fairly obvious, I think. Yeah, it's fine. I don't need to test it. I'm not wasting my time on that. That's extra. It'll be fine. Anyway, so next we need to... So that's done. Next we need to modify CS receive code such that it receives the client token. So we send this, and then they send back basically just a 1 or a 2. I don't know why we do this. Like, there's a reason, and it's so that it avoids a bug. I think it avoids like a crash to ensure the section is run when they reconnect, so the client doesn't get stuck in while client ID is equal to none in client pi early stage. Starts at 0 plus equals 1 for each threaded client. Is later reduced by 1 if a client DCs to ensure this section is run when they reconnect, so the client doesn't get stuck in while client ID is equal to none. Okay, I understand. It's basically like a trigger. Like, it's like, don't start the while loop until... Don't move on and try to do data transfer, because, like, we're not verified that you're connected or whatever yet. This is like making sure that we have a solid connection before we continue type thing. There's a reason. I'll review it further, but not right now. I'll move on, but I'm pretty sure it's necessary. I feel like I need to review it a little bit further, but not right now. Alright, so next, modify CS receive code such that it receives a client token. So network, I thought network had something to do with that. Oh god, this has all got to be changed. Oh lord. I mean, it's not crazy. It's not crazy changes, but so it's client and then game. It's client and then game. It doesn't matter. Well, actually it does. It does in this current form. Fuck. Refactors, boys. Refactors, boys. Do we really need to do this the proper way with tokens? Fuck. I mean, I needed to learn it, right? Anyway. So we're not going to be receiving 10. Okay, one thing at a time here. Well, this got to be refactored, so let me just make sure. Okay, so first, let's go one step at a time here, and we're gonna do send first. Alright. So we did 0 to 7. Zero through 7, option 1, header string. Notice I'm using list instead of tuple. Can I just use tuple since they are faster? I'm not sure. I'm not using a list. Data isn't a list. It's a string. Right? Or, it's a bytes. It's not a list. Let's see if I can use third line instead of line 1 and 2. Seems like it would work. Needs to be tested. Comment added. Only one of these methods should be enabled at a time. The first 2 lines sends the header string first and the actual data. The second sends all of it at once. Okay. We'll figure that out eventually. Send all data 0 to 7, 7 onward. Why do we do that? We don't have a header. We have to create the header string, right? Get client and game ID. socket receive 10. Receive socket. So receive 7 bytes to get the header string. Because this other mission data transfer management. Ooh. I think that's an old When debugging DTM initial crash bug, consistently saw that the initial header string on the first receive call for client 1 is always an empty none value. Therefore, I suspect that it is the below line causing the bug, since we had a 4-second wait and there was actually nothing to immediately receive, as this below line below does not account for any delay. Now 100% it's not suspecting. Although the encoded header object is 34 bytes according to get size of before descent through the server, when it is received here it is only 7 bytes. I don't understand why, but after some testing it seems to be working properly. Okay. Okay, my dude. Whatever you say, bro. Whatever thou sayest. So it goes from 34 bytes to 7. Sys get size of. Huh? Huh? What? Okay. One step at a time here, dude. One step at a time here, dude. Get client and game ID. So first of all is the send, and we send it is the first 7 bytes is the header. Okay. I don't understand. Anyway. Oh, hold up. This is the header. Isn't this why we do this? Isn't that why we did link string client ID 0, 0, 0, 0 plus string client ID? Towards 5. And then we have these are each of 5 and 4. And then we have concatenated string equals string client plus A. AX is a break character. Always fixed length of 10 bytes. So it's encoded in a UTF-8 and it's 10 bytes. And then we do con send. Oh, that's not using network send, is it? It's not. Yeah, that's using socket send. Right? It doesn't use the network send. Am I wrong on that? This shit's spaghetti code, dog. This is fucking spaghetti code. Oh my god. Corresponds to CS and get client and game ID. But it doesn't use n.send. See, because it receives 10. It don't do nothing with no header, no shit like that. So I don't even think... Yeah, that's a different send. That's stupid of me to have that named the same. I need to change it. I'm gonna add that, as a matter of fact, to things to do. We'll put this as pressing issues, and we're gonna say change n.send name to not be .send. Because this causes confusion. Causes confusion with the socket.send method. Yeah, that's important actually. See, I'm dumb. So this is referring to con, and con is passed to threaded client. Threaded client gets called, and it's passed. Well, we actually don't do it like that. We do it like that. So we say con, and con here is actually client socket, and client socket here is hot potato, baby. Fuck! Where is it? It's way up here. Is it? Client socket? Where is client socket at? Okay, yeah, so it's socket accept. There we go. Socket accept. It's a spaghetti code, dog. It's spaghetti code. It is spaghetti. All code, man. I tell you what, bro. I tried to structure that shit, dude. I really did. Really did. It is what it is. Anyway, we're getting it right. It takes time, okay? So, what do we need to do? What do we need to do? Alright, I know what we need to do. So we don't have to worry about that. That's send. Let me put a note here. Let's put this. This is socket.send sec. What an idiot. Not network.send. Very important distinction here. Okay, so that's fine. So it corresponds to get client and game ID. Matter of fact, I take my sleep medicine. Okay, took my sleeping medicine. And I took it kind of late because I got to be at work for 5 tomorrow, I think. Yeah, I got to be at work at 5. So I gotta get up fucking early. Gotta get up at like 4:30. Shit! Which means I'm not gonna get my 8 hours of sleep. It's just not gonna happen. Eight hours and 4 minutes. Yeah, I'll probably get like 7 hours 15, which is not good. Okay. Taking too long with this. So this corresponds to get client and game ID. So that's what needs to be changed. So modify CS receive code. So let me be specific here. Let's first we're gonna next, which is modify network dot get client game ID. Get client and game ID. Yeah, so we have to modify that in accordance with new token system. And then after next, which it don't fucking matter, you know, whatever. Can leave it like that. Modify network. And what we need to do is keep this right here. This is like, technically we're supposed to do like this. So add client token to initial server-side send. To ensure no spoofing, create the client token and send it to each client to start a game along with each client ID. Technically that part is done. Yeah, that part's done. So that task is finished. It would fall into this task for add client token to initial CS receive, which includes client token receive. Ensure it's stored saved properly. That's true. There we go. So now we have next. Alright, so let's modify that function. Okay. This is going to be before it was refactored, so let's remove all the discount, double check. So what I'll do this the right way, and that means we're going to copy it. We're gonna replicate it, and then we're gonna, sorry about that. Clear documentation, number one. Number one most important thing in coding. Clear documentation, point blank period, the end. It's that simple. So this is not going to be client ID, game ID anymore. This is going to be get client token. Takes in con and returns a tuple. That's not true anymore. Okay. So this returns a token object. So we need to do socket.receive. But how much do we need to receive? And we need to do this would be the client socket, right? So this should be changed from get okay, we're gonna stop here. We'll take care of this tomorrow. We'll relax a little bit before bed. Alright guys, so we're done for the day. Was it good? Was it a good session? It was okay. Honestly, it's kind of spaghetti code right now because refactored. You got server side. We finished that pretty much. Then we got network, which this got to finish being refactored. Pretty easy, honestly. It's not gonna be very hard. And then client, we just got to finish this little refactor here. Not extraordinarily difficult stuff, but it just takes a little bit of time. And gonna have to review it and be careful, you know, make sure we get it right. So I'll say probably next session we'll finish this and this. So you're looking at about an hour for this task to be done, and then we can move on to storing it to save it and stuff. That should maybe an hour max for that, probably about 30 minutes. So you're looking at about an hour and a half to finish this entire task, and then we're gonna get to add client send. Okay, yeah, then we have to do the actual reconnect code. Glad I added that because I almost forgot. And so you're looking at probably another hour for that. So looking at about 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours. 3. So I would say, yeah, we're still at about we're about 5.5 hours left to finish all these tasks right here. You know how it is, but that's actually nothing. Yeah, about 5 hours, I'll say. All right, dudes. So yeah, we're getting there. Chipping away. Just gotta keep chipping away at it, and we're getting close, real close. Closer than ever, obviously. So have a good day and good night.